You need to have kind of an initial base of humans that you know that makes it worthwhile to be able to connect. And I think we have an innate need of wanting to expand our network, expand how many people we're connected to. Because if you're going to be in a place where you're connecting people, you should be actively meeting new people to see if it's worthwhile connecting. What are some of the main activities you've done to be able to expand your own network, to make it so that, you've been managing it and growing it, and now you have reasons to connect people? Because you know incredible people. And I'm wondering if there's very tangible actions you can take to grow your own network.
Looking at it like that, it's difficult to answer. I can only look at it from, I like a lot of different things. I'm interested in so many different topics. I'm a business advisor. I take hip hop dance classes. I have friends that do all kinds of different things all over the world. And I'm always curious to learn about people and what they're up to and what they're doing. And so that natural curiosity has led me into different friend groups, into different circles, into high profile circles, into low profile circles. Like, I love it all. And I can kind of be a chameleon and match the vibe of all of these different circles just because of who I am and what I've done and what I care about. I'm actually really interested in getting to know these people. And so through that natural course of just me being curious, I've had access to all these different circles. And then when I go into one circle, I think like, okay, who are these people? What do they care about? What motivates them? And then what experiences have I had? What knowledge base do I have? What wisdom do I have? Who do I have access to that could potentially help these people? And if it's not, then there's nothing there, and that's it. It's okay. But because I'm so curious and I put myself in all these different situations, I'm lucky enough to have a bank of assets and conversations and topics and places that, just because I'm curious, I've gotten to know so that I can then tap into this pool and offer up something when necessary, but also not doing it from a place of like, oh, I gotta go provide value or whatever. It's kind of just like really being helpful, And this is universal. Doesn't matter what circle you're in. If you are genuinely interested in the other person and trying to actually help them. Now, I'm not saying you're Mother Teresa, but you're like curious to want to help them. Like, what do you do? Oh, I'm a marketer and I do digital marketing. Oh, okay. Like, do you care about that? Are you excited about, like, is that what you really want to do? Yeah, I really love the internet and I've been marketing for. Okay, great. And then you can then start to like peel back what motivates them, who they are, and then start to get deeper and ask questions about why they're doing what they're doing or how they got to do that. And then through that conversation, things come up, right? And topics come up and people come up in your mind that you're like, oh, have you heard about this thing? Have you heard about that thing? And then you just exchange knowledge. And if I don't know anything about marketing, if the person tells me something like, oh, you know what? That sounds a lot like this other finance thing that I learned, because in this world, this happens and that happens. It seems like the concept is similar. And they'd be like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. And it's just like offering up things that are relevant to them based on the experiences that you've had in a kind of easy way that just kind of flows and is effortless.
Do you label yourself as an extrovert?
No,
Not necessarily.
no, I think I'm in the middle because I do enjoy meeting people and going to events, but then I also enjoy just like hanging out by myself and just chilling. So I think I'm in the middle. Like I could go either way. And so I wouldn't say like I'm an extrovert and I'm always out there and I'm Cal. No, I like that. I also like doing quiet things sometimes and chilling and then going out. And so there's a balance for me.
The reason I know for me, I'm like way on this. When I do the big five personality assessment, like I'm in the top percentiles of extrovertedness. And
Oh,
same with you. Like I do appreciate the alone time and stuff, but I think I'm on the spectrum for extrovertedness, quite on a skewed level. I think it's 96 or 98th percentile. So that was pretty high. And I'm just, one of the biggest fears about, okay, I can go and sign up to a lot of different, call it clubs, sign up to events of interest so I can meet some new people there. I mean, that's kind of like what showing up is half the battle kind of thing. But then once you're there, you still have half the battle. And so I'd be curious to see what are some of the biggest, could it be faux pas or maybe interesting things we should keep in mind if you've decided to show up, to make sure that you're showing up your best self and you're not being, one of those. We've been to events and we've known, let's call them those people, like that maybe just give up that negative vibe. And it's like, oh my God, like if you walked into a cafe and you would see that person you've seen at that event, you might walk into a different cafe. you want to go out and connect with people, but you definitely don't want to be one of those annoying people. Let's call it what it is. So what are some of the things you would recommend for someone if they want to show up, like you said, in a giving way, not being needy? What are some of the things we should have figured out here?
Yeah, I was surprised to see how people actually present themselves and how they talk about themselves and their journey and what they've done. I've been lucky enough to know some of the most successful people and amazing humans with depth and all this stuff. And I'll be in an event with them and I'll be in a circle of people and someone's like, oh, hey, like, what do you do? And their answer is like the most mundane, not interesting, like doesn't even scratch the surface of who they are. And I watch this, I'm like, wow, you're way more than this, than what you just said. And I realized that people are leaving so much of who they are on the table because they don't effectively know how to communicate who it is that they are and what it is that they do. There's a saying that facts tell and stories sell. And so if you don't have your story down, you're missing out on countless opportunities for business, for friends, for lovers, for partnerships that you don't even know that you're missing. So what I help people with often is how to actually tell your story. And I've been in situations where I know the person doesn't know how to explain their story properly. So I'll jump in for them and I'm almost like their PR person for the next 30 seconds. And I do this without even thinking about it. I did it 2 days ago at a restaurant with a friend. And, instead of them saying like, oh yeah, hey, my name's Melissa and I do this and that, I'm just kind of like, this is my friend Melissa. Let me tell you about her. She went through this journey where she thought this was the right thing to do, and then she realized that wasn't it, and now she's doing this. And she also did this other side thing where she helps charities do this, this, and this. And oftentimes when I do this, the person looks at me and was like, wow, that's me? Like, whoa, cool. That sounds so amazing. You are that amazing. You are that amazing. How are you not communicating yourself properly to people that you're meeting? Because ultimately, we have such short attention spans these days. And when you go to a networking event, you start meeting people, there's a minimum threshold of, I don't know what you would call it, but like caring or paying attention to someone. And if you don't pass that threshold for that specific person, they're on to the next person and they don't want to even consider you anymore. And so what I help people do is have them surpass that minimum threshold for that person so that they can at least take the opportunity to learn more. Because in an ideal world, in any networking event or any event or party or whatever, you would meet someone and you'd sit down for an hour and you'd get a chance to really find out who it is that this person is, what they care about, and really authentically get to connect with who they are. But we don't have the opportunity to do that. And so to go from showing who I really am to that 10-second intro, that 30-second intro, there's a lot missed. And so I help optimize that intro to get them to at least be interested enough to want to get to learn more. I can't help you be interesting if you're boring, but I can help you get to learn. I can help you show others a glimpse of who it is that you might be so that then they can take the opportunity to sit down and learn more.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.